On the one hand, I have a pretty great life in that I get to talk about science and skepticism with other nerds. But on the other hand, sometimes my life is really horrible. Like today, when I had to learn all about a YouTuber named Armoured Skeptic, who has an avatar of a guy in a tux wearing a knight's helmet. He's important, and I have to talk to you about him. Here's what I've learned about Armoured Skeptic thus far. 3 things. Number 1, his name is Greg. It's a perfectly fine name. I don't know why I didn't just go with that. Armored Greg. Number 2, he hates conspiracy theories. Number 3, he believes that ISIS is responsible for burning down Notre Dame, and the government of France and the rest of the world are covering up by calling the people who believe ISIS is responsible conspiracy theorists. Oh no, Greg, that's not good. If you'll recall, when Notre Dame went up in flames last week, authorities were very, very quick to put out there that this was absolutely not related to terrorism. They found 0 evidence of the fire being lit intentionally. And they were able to figure that out and put that news out there while the cathedral was still on fire. That's some very good prophylactic myth busting. Not that it helped. At the time, they said that it was probably related to the ongoing restoration of the church. As of this recording, they suspect that it was due to an electrical short circuit, possibly in an elevator. But of course, why would you trust the word of the people who are fighting the fire, the people who are responsible for overseeing the church, the French government, when instead you could rely upon a guy on Twitter who says that he has a friend who worked in Notre Dame and that he overheard the staff saying that they thought the fire was set intentionally. Or you could believe Paul Joseph Watson, no relation, who wrote an entire article on InfoWars based on that tweet. You know InfoWars, that great skeptical source of news. Look, I remember 9/11. I have to. A bumper sticker insisted. So yeah, when there's a big disaster, I do have that initial thought of, oh no, is this terrorism? That's just human nature. But there's a difference between quietly wondering to myself, is this terrorism? And taking a megaphone and shouting to the masses, this is definitely terrorism. Don't believe the authorities. I have the truth. And yet, just to be clear, Armoured Skeptic does have a platform. Otherwise, I would not have needed to even learn about him. His Twitter account has an astonishing 128,000 followers somehow. And these idiots, Greg and Paul Joseph Watson and Alex Jones and others, they encouraged all of their idiot fans to go on 4chan and Reddit and Facebook and elsewhere and work themselves into an anti-Muslim frenzy, with the idiots angry at everyone, at the evil fire-starting Muslims, and the cucked SJW authorities for covering for the Muslims for some reason, and for the cucked SJW world for believing the authorities. So Greg took some misinformation. He helped pass it along to more than 100,000 people, and thereby helped make the world a little bit more hate-filled. And ISIS didn't even have to lift a finger. Good job, Greg. You should really look into getting ISIS to, sponsor your YouTube channel or something, because I bet they're big fans at this point. Now that it's been a few days, and it's becoming more and more obvious, even to the stupidest of the conspiracy theorists, that the burning of Notre Dame really did not have anything to do with Islam, Greg limped back to Twitter to explain himself 3 days after his initial conspiracy theory tweet. He wrote, "I reaffirm here that I wasn't trying to blame anyone specifically. Using ISIS as my example was perhaps overkill." Yes, Greg, perhaps it was overkill to state that this fire, which all the authorities stated immediately that they had investigated and found was not intentionally set, to say that that was actually set by ISIS. That was probably overkill. Greg then says that despite what he tweeted, he actually thought the people who set the fire, that authorities affirmed was not set intentionally, he thought that the people who set the fire were actually the yellow vests. as they've done a lot of this in the weeks leading up. Now, I'm familiar with the Yellow Vest movement in France, but I still had to look this up because I know that the economic equality movement has resulted in some violent riots, but I wasn't aware that the protesters had moved on to the burning down national landmarks stage of business. So I checked, and no, they haven't. They don't do that. He's just making that up in an attempt to make himself look like less of a ridiculous conspiracy theorist. Happily, he does end that stupid follow-up tweet with, "But I recognize I was wrong." So that's nice, I guess. But then he followed it up with another tweet where he says that he actually wasn't wrong for defending people for shouting out that it was arson. And then he posted another tweet clarifying again that he was just defending the right to discuss the arson hypothesis, as Yellow Vest was so obvious a candidate. That tweet was liked by 223 people. Let's check out his initial tweet again, because I'm a little bit confused here. And yeah, in the initial tweet, he does make it clear that he is among the people entertaining the possibility that ISIS burned down Notre Dame and the official story is a lie. And 3 days later, he's pretending that he was simply defending people who, like him, actually suspected that the Yellow Vests were responsible. And 223 of his followers completely bought that ridiculous narrative swap. So yeah, now I know all about Armoured Skeptic, and now I've made a YouTube video debunking another YouTube skeptic. It's like 2005 all over again. Leave your response videos below, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm definitely going to read all the comments and take them to heart and maybe reply to them. Oh God, I have to go throw up.